Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Friday, February 11th, and this local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow you. A Flagler County School District bus driver who was involved in an accident earlier this week, now in a second incident, is facing charges after deputies say he was under the influence.
Sheriff Rick Staley says the driver showed up for work as normal.
This individual apparently arrived at district transportation to pick up his school bus for the afternoon run when an employee smelled alcohol on his breath. While the employee was notifying the supervisor, this individual got in a school bus, not his assigned, and drove out of the district transportation lot to go to a middle school to pick up his students.
Workers then tried to contact him.
The district staff attempted to order him by radio to pull over and stop, which he refused. The district staff then started searching for the bus driver and found him in the K section of Palm Coast. When he opened the door, he fell out of the bus on the ground, saying he was having a breathing and leg issue.
The man was given a breathalyzer test after being taken into custody.
The breathalyzer indicated a .32 and .31 blood alcohol content. That is 4 times the legal limit. He was charged with that and also with child neglect felony. As we continue the investigation, if we can identify the other potentially 39 kids are on the bus, we will charge him with 39 additional felony counts.
Staley says it's a miracle that no one was injured.
I hope the school district fires him and the courts hold him accountable for what could have been his deadly actions.
For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
Palm Coast City Council members aren't thrilled about a proposal that would spend $150,000 to study the city's utility rates. Vice Mayor Eddie Branchino.
Every single one of the goals talks about cost recovery. And if we're going to recover any costs, guess who we're going to recover it from? And that's my fear, that every time you do a study, that actually it's going to raise prices.
Councilman Ed Danko echoed those concerns.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a study where the prices are going to be lowered, and our citizens are all going to have to reach in their pocket and pay for those increases.
Palm Coast Utilities Director Steve Flanagan says studies like this can actually reduce costs and help the utility plan to stay in good shape financially.
For the most part, I think our consultants and our staff do an excellent job of trying to hold down those costs and plan it, because it's extremely important in our business to plan smart.
City Councilman Nick Kloufis says without this study, costs could skyrocket suddenly and not allow the utility to meet the needs of its growing population.
My concerns revolve around the long-term planning of our water utilities, because these are basically things that eventually someone's going to have to pay the piper. And pushing this off and then having rate shock as a result of not knowing exactly how we're planning, I would hate to burden a future council with that.
Kloufis says while he agrees with some council members' fears, he believes the study is a necessary part of long-term planning. Senate Bill 90, which passed last April along Republican Party lines in the state legislature, makes changes to the way Floridians vote by mail.
Now, elections officials aren't allowed to mail out ballots to all registered voters. They can only send them to those who request a ballot. Additionally, drop boxes will be limited to early voting hours and must be physically manned by a person and not video surveillance. Flagler Supervisor of Elections, Katie Lenhart.
In our county, we are still going to have the drop box. I asked for additional funding from the Board of County Commissioners in my budget to make it available with physical monitoring for 60 days prior to the election through Election Day for both elections this year at our office. Now, that's the one where people come to the elections office to drop off their ballot in person. It will no longer be available on the weekends. So those folks who work different shifts and only have availability at times of the day where everyone else is probably sleeping.
Flagler NAACP President Shelley Ragsdale calls it a form of voter suppression.
Why? Why would you do that? It makes no sense, and you have the budget to do that. How many other people don't have a budget in their particular counties to do that? Therefore, it becomes voter suppression. We should all have the right to vote, and it should be made easy.
Lenhart believes the objective of the bill was to make voting more secure, but admits it causes problems.
Whether it's based in reality or not, that was the objective, that was the intent. However, the unintended consequence a lot of times is not thought through completely, because there are counties that I know of that have taken their box completely out. I mean, they've removed the box.
Florida's new voting law is being challenged in court by several civil rights and voting rights groups, including the NAACP and the League of Women Voters. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
A scam is making the rounds in Flagler Beach.
Apparently, scammers are getting crafty by posing as representatives from Amazon to get to your wallet. Flagler Beach Police Chief Matt Downey has these cautionary words.
We had a victim came in yesterday, reported a $1,500 fraud, got contacted over the phone by someone posing as an representative from Amazon and stating that they needed payment for items that had been purchased. The victim hadn't purchased anything but was a little confused, and the representative asked them to purchase Amazon gift cards from CVS, then called them back, and the victim wound up giving the card numbers and PIN numbers to the scammer. By the time they reported, that money's gone. So we're proactively trying to get the word out. Amazon will not call you to tell you that you need a payment, and I don't know any agency that calls that says, please go out and buy prepaid gift cards to pay any type of bill. So if it doesn't sound right, it's not right.
Chief Downey says to contact your local law enforcement agency if you suspect you're being scammed. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
Pastor Charles Solano said he created Open Door because he's been where many of the residents have been.
Solano said on a recent episode of the Business Report that it was more than 20 years ago that he was addicted to drugs and went to prison. He said that when he got out, there was no re-entry program for him, so he created one for others.
I purposed to help people transition back into society. So we established a program that was connected with the community in many ways, working with the DOC and working with the local jail, doing classes in there, even preparing them somewhat before they even come into the program, what to expect.
Solano said that there are several people in both the men's and the women's programs looking for jobs. So if you're an employer and you're looking for people, contact Pastor Solano. Listen to the Business Report on WNZF on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock and anytime on the Flagler radio app. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
The weekend is here and there's plenty going on in Flagler County to enjoy with the family. This is Stacy with Fun for Augie Kids.
Today, join Park volunteer Jim Gleason on a unique Coquina beach walk at the Washington Oaks Garden State Park. Participants will have the opportunity to explore the second largest outcropping of Coquina rock on the Atlantic Ocean. Join Senior Curator of Education and History at the Bulow State Ruins for a tour of this important historical site and learn about the history from John James Audubon's visit to the destruction by the Seminoles. Tonight, Pax Karate is hosting a Valentine's date night. Get some alone time with your Valentine while your kids are out having fun. But space is limited, so be sure to reserve your spot online. Tomorrow, enjoy Craft Day at the Flagler County Library. Let your imagination run free with your art project or even make your own Valentine's Day cards. Learn more about these events and others by visiting us on our website at fun4augiekids.com. We wish you all a happy Valentine's Day weekend.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.